Shalum, and welcome to the channel. If you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Symmanayah, and these are the words I'm compelled to present before an awakening, set-apart nation. To those who are drawn by the Almighty Father Yahuah, to his word Yahusha, as it is written in John 6:44. My brothers and sisters, it's important for us to understand that as we pursue maturity and set-apart life, we must understand the pathways that are put before us. Have you ever been in a situation where people say, oh, you'll make a good preacher, oh, you're a prophet, or you're a moray, where people are pointing you into positions that you should not be in? But sometimes our ego causes us to succumb to the seductive words of people who prod us into positions we probably should not be in. I would challenge you to find any teaching that talks about mature pathways and position. You see, my brothers and sisters, we have a hand. And I use a green screen, so it probably looks crazy. But we have a hand. It has fingers. And many of us don't realize that the hand, the pathway for the development of the hand, is as we witness it. From birth to childhood to adult, our hands are not the same size, and they function relatively different in terms of how much they can hold and what they can perform. It would be awkward if all of a sudden our hands start taking on the shape of our head, or our ears start taking on the shape of a foot on the side of our head. Wouldn't that look a little defective? Freaky? I say to you, my brothers and sisters, the Almighty Father, I will present the case how the Almighty Father has given us positions and tasks and gifts. And the maturity of each gift depends on the function and the identity and the desired function of that gift. Many people are looking at gifts and callings, and because of a lack of set-apart teaching, our scope of understanding what these gifts, these positions, these pathways towards maturity resemble. I represent the case of how maturity pathways and position can lead to a more rewarding life. Take into consideration, my brothers and sisters, that if you were to be going in one direction and someone else is saying you should be going in the other direction, and that other direction is the direction the Almighty Father wants you to go, wouldn't it be somewhat of a battle, a tug of war, trying to decide what way to go? And what if one way took you into a position of laughter, folly, taking things for granted, abusing one another, self-gain, vanities, and the other position took you along the pathway where you grow into maturity and grow in wisdom and understand what is expected of you, of Yahusha? You see, my brothers and sisters, if we are pushed into positions, sometimes those positions we are pushed into take us off the pathways of maturity. Sometimes the struggles we have is because we're not in the right position. We're not on the right path towards maturity to function in the position that we are chosen by the Almighty Father. Take a moment, pick any body part. Now let me use the hand as an example as I spoke of. Do you think your hand would function well if it replaced your neck? Here's something else to consider. Were your hands the same size when you were 3 years old? Has any of your body parts taken on more functions over the years? Case in point, even if it was driving, you might want to drive a vehicle, but your feet couldn't reach the pedals. But as you matured and grew, your legs were able to reach the pedals. Maturity pathway, the pathway of your legs growing out. The position of your legs. Now, what if they was growing out the side of your neck? Could you see to drive and work the car? See, this might sound freaky and out of place. I present to you, that's the same with identifying our positions, our functions, and set apartness. Some of the confusion and dysfunction that we witness among Yahusha is because we're in the wrong position, or we're in the wrong pathway towards perfecting the expertise that the Almighty Father have waiting for us to grow into. I speak often how it is important to discern the life in the scriptures. Let us visit words regarding positions, my brothers and sisters. Romans 12th chapter, verse 1 and 2 reads this. I call upon you, therefore, brothers, through the compassions of the Almighty One. It says Elohim, but Elohim is plural for mighty ones. I submit to you that Yahuah is the Almighty One. So I will say that when I see Elohim in this passage. To present your bodies a living offering, set apart, well-pleasing to the Almighty One, your reasonable worship. Could presenting your bodies as a living offering cause you to realize that you have been called to be a foot, so to speak, in the body of Yahusha? Would you sacrifice the attempts to try to be a hand or a kidney? Would you sacrifice what you desire to do for what the Almighty Father has for you? It says, and do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you prove what is that good and well-pleasing and perfect desire of the Almighty One. You see, the world have us believing you can be anything you want to be if you put your mind to it. I submit to you, you can be most successful in identifying what the Almighty Father has for you, for me, for his body. It goes on to say in the 3rd through the 5th verse, for I say through the favor which has been given to me, to everyone who is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he should think, but to think soberly, as the Almighty One has given to each a measure of belief. For as we have many members in one body, but all members do not have the same function, so we the many are one body in Messiah, and members each one of one another. We will learn, my brothers and sisters, there are differences in skill sets. There's much envying among us over titles, without regards to full responsibilities and details for being successful in such positions. Some people don't have the skill sets to do the things that they think they can do or want to do. But you see, through the power and might of the Almighty Father, we will discover the pathways of maturity for the skill sets that he has given out, to the gifts that he has given us. There are many who desire to teach, but they are not informed or ignore what is written in James 3rd chapter. You might say, what this has to do with anything? You see, if we jump to be teachers and we unaware that it comes with greater judgment, it may be difficult to reach that maturity in that position because we're on the wrong path. We're functioning using our own wit, our own wisdom, opposed to the wisdom of the Almighty Father. Those who are called to be teachers will learn and grow and know how to manage greater judgment. They'll know that we stumble. It says, for we stumble in many matters. If anyone does not stumble in word, he is a perfect man, able to bridle the entire body. I speak of this passage often, my brothers and sisters, because so many people fail to realize to be a teacher comes with responsibility and greater judgment. Many functions. Consider this, Ephesians 4, 1-4 says, I call upon you, therefore, I, the prisoner of the Master, to walk worthily of the calling which you were called, with all humility and meekness, with patience, bearing with one another in love, being eager to guard the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. one body, one spirit, as you also were called in one expectation of your calling. And it goes on to say, one master, one belief, one immersion, one Almighty One and Father of all, who is above all and through all and in you all. But to each one of us favor was given according to the measure of the gift of Messiah. Yahusha, oh Yahusha. The time is now for us to consider the process for growing in maturity. Maturity pathways and position. Let the foot do what it is designed to do. Let the hand do what it is designed to do. Let the kidneys and the heart, the lungs, let the elbow, let the body parts do what they're designed to do and grow into maturity as one body, one spirit, functioning as we were tasked to function. You see, my brothers and sisters, maturity pathways and positions can lead us to recognizing what is required based on our calling and task assigned. It would be wise to examine each detail required for us to serve Abba Yahuah according to his desire for us. Let us remember there are no rewind buttons, and time spent cannot be regained. So let us grow to focus. Focus on the pathway that leads to maturity in the position which we were called. Yahusha, if we reflect on how we handled growing physically, we just may come to discover how it is okay to not have the most envied or coveted positions. Let us seek to be the best in what we are assigned to accomplish. In doing so, we will discover less weights, more strength in positions assigned by Abba Yahuah, less conflict and confusion. Let us visit 1 Corinthians 12th chapter. 1 Corinthians 12th chapter says this in verse 12 through 14. For as the body is one, it has many members, but all the members of that one body, being many, are one body. So also is the Messiah. For indeed by one Spirit we were all immersed into one body, whether Yehudim or Greek, whether slaves or free, we were all made to drink into one Spirit. For indeed the body is not one member, but many. Many members. Yahusha, it goes on to say, if the foot says, because I am not a hand, I do not belong to the body, does it therefore not belong to the body? And if the ear says, because I am not an eye, I do not belong to the body, does it therefore not belong to the body? If all the body was an eye, where would be the hearing? If all hearing, where would be the smelling? But now the Almighty One hath set the members, each one of them, in the body, even as he pleased. And wherever he set us, my brothers and sisters, let us grow in maturity in that placement. And it goes on to say in the 19th and 20th verse, and if they all had been one member, where would the body be? And now there are indeed many members, but one body. Yahusha, oh Yahusha. I'm not done. It goes on in the same 12th chapter, 1 Corinthians, verse 21 and 22. And an eye is unable to say to the hand, I have no need of thee, of you. Or again the head to the feet, I have no need of you. But much rather those members of the body which are thought to be weaker are necessary. Every part of the body of Yahusha is necessary, my brothers and sisters. And it continues to say, and those of the body which we think to be less respected, these we present greater respect. And our unseemly members have greater seemliness, whereas our seemly members have no need, but the Almighty One blended together the body, having given greater respect to that member which lacks it, that there should be no division in the body, but that the members should have the same concern one for another. That concern should be identifying the tasks, the assignments, and growing in maturity on that pathway that reflects us getting stronger in that position, whatever it may be. And they say if one member suffers, all the members suffer with it. Or if one member esteemed, all the members rejoice with it. And you are a body of Messiah and members individually. My brothers and sisters, we're spending too much time coveting, envying positions that we're not designed to be in. Teachers don't know how to instruct and direct attention to every position, to every members of the body as revealed to them. They speak on pastors, bishops, deacons, minister of music. But how many speak on the hand that gardens, the farmer, the cook, the seamstress or tailor? How many speak of those who can care for the child or the mother, those who help with providing nutritious education to us? So many different functions within the body of Yahushua. And with the right direction, we will grow in maturity in those functions and witness how each function makes the body of Yahushua strong. By now, I pray that you are encouraged and seek to identify how your map of life is tailored for your position, that position within the body of Messiah, not what someone is trying to push on you. There's a difference between mature pathways and positions versus someone shoving you into a place where Abba Yahuah did not order you to be. That may be part of the stress, the pain, the discomfort that many feel because we are not on that right pathway. We are not in that position we are tasked to be. Keep in mind, my brothers and sisters, an out-of-place body part is awkward. Let us look at every member and discern what is ordered of us. Let us never think less of ourselves or another member. Revisiting Romans 12, verse 3, I want to say again, for this is important, as it relates to mature pathways and that map, that pathway, that roadway to maturity for the position that we are tasked to do. I want to read Romans 12:3 again. For I say through the favor which has been given me to everyone who is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he should think, but think soberly, as the Almighty One has given to each a measure of belief. Will we throw our hands up at the task that the Almighty Father, who is the Almighty One, the Ancient of Days, will we throw our hands up, rejecting what he has given us? Beware, my brothers and sisters. There are those who allow their flesh to demonstrate such rebellion. But I submit to you, when we begin to identify what we have been created to do, we will walk and flow in the direction of maturity and see and witness how everlasting life is magnified through our contribution to this everlasting body in Mashiach, a set-apart nation, made alive by the Almighty Father through his word. It is important for us to also be mindful of Luke 9:46-48. Luke 9:46-48 say, and a reasoning arose among them, who might be the greater of them? And Yahusha, having seen the reasoning of their heart, took a little child and placed him by his side, and said to them, whoever receives this little child in my name receives me. And whoever receives me, receive him who sent me. For he He who is least among you all, he shall be great. Are we mindful of those that we believe are least among us? Are we mindful of the child or the senior or the weakened one, weakened, made weak, that need our help? Are we mindful of the things that strengthen us in the positions that we should be functioning? I want to bring to your attention these words, which are written, my brothers and sisters, as I continue, as I gradually come to an end. 1 Corinthians 13, verse 8 through 10 reads this: Love never fails, and whether there be prophecy, there shall be inactive, or tongues, they shall cease, or knowledge, it shall be inactive. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect has come, then that which is in part shall be inactive. Why? Because we are made whole by He who is the Almighty One. We see things better, more wholly, W-H-O-L-L-Y. It goes on to say, when I was a child, I spoke as a child. I thought as a child. I reasoned as a child. But when I became a man, I did away with childish matters. For now we see in a mirror dimly, then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall know as I also have been known. And now belief, expectation, and love remains. These three, but the greatest of these is love. Love, my brothers and sisters. Love every part of the body of Mashiach. Love every task that the Almighty Father have assigned us. I encourage each of us to have a discussion regarding maturity pathways, growing in maturity in the tasks that you're called to do, being recognized, knowing how the puzzle, how many members with different functions will come together and function as one unified, set-apart nation. Please be advised, my brothers and sisters, our final positions will become clear in the days ahead. Out of discipline will come refinement and set-apartness. And without such, we will miss the judgment that is required to bring correction, to purge, to come away, or to reinforce. Yahusha, mature pathways in position. Identify what is expected and walk that pathway to maturity. Thank you for your patience. If you listen to this from beginning to end, pray. Have discussions about what do we see in one another that contributes to the body of Yahusha, that strengthens a set-apart nation, that will prove to consist of 144,000 and a great multitude in these final days ahead. Pray and watch, O Yahusha. Be encouraged. More than anything, seek to discern what the Spirit is saying to you, my brother, my sister, my family. If you listen to this from beginning to end, I salute your patience and I thank you for your tolerance. On that note, I end by saying, be encouraged. Shalum.